So the topic is this: is developing soft skills. What will continue? What are the best practices from the past that make all the sense that we copy paste them? What things should we stop, and what new things should we start having in this fantastic world of developing soft skills? So, just one topic here. Okay, so we have reality one, and which is present scenario. Okay, where we have been, the way we develop soft skills, and we have a potential ideal new scenario, which is reality two. So my logic is how could we jump from reality one to reality two, if jumping from reality one to reality two is the right way. So we have one thing here, and what we have here is what is the PLC, and by PLC I mean the probability level of concreteness. Is it a high one? Is it a big one? We have a big probability to move to the ideal scenario, although what is it the ideal scenario now? Or do we have a low probability? This is the question we have now, and the topic of the presentation is share with you some ingredients so that we definitely have a high probability to move to the new one. So the logic that, Shivam, I just have one question here. Sorry for, is the presentation on the right way? Because I cannot see it on the PowerPoint normal presentation. Is something missing here?
We see your presentation fine.
Yes.
Right. We are looking at what is PLC.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, probability level of concreteness PLC. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. So just was checking that. Okay. So it will be in our perspective that the PLC, I repeat, is the probability level of concreteness, is it will be very low if we will have a disruptive change from reality one to reality two. We don't believe that the new reality, which means developing, teaching people, it will be very different from the present one. And why? Because honestly, we don't believe that there are big changes the way we are able to learn. With PCs, with no PCs, but human beings have not changed so much during the years. So the logic is, we know that a lot of things have been changing around us, but not the way we learn. So if we have not changed so much the way we learn, we have to be aware that if we introduce very disruptive changes, human beings are not prepared to work in a different way. So if we look, do you know the Escher drawings? I like them very much because they are impossible. In a 3D logic, the Escher drawings does not exist. They only exist in a 2D logic. So the perfect development soft skills reality don't exist. We always have a lot of challenges. We always have a lot of slowdown factors, or because we don't have time to develop soft skills, or because I developed the soft skills, but the company where I work doesn't have the proper culture so that I can behave according to what I did in a training. So the point is, in order that we have, so that we could have a high level of PLC, that is, so that we can be trained in a different way, a high PLC is it possible? But in order to have and to keep having a perfect or almost perfect, because I just said that having a perfect is not possible, a very good, efficient, a perennial way to develop soft skills, our proposal is to move things from the present way we develop soft skills to the new reality. And summing up to now, what I said is we cannot move from A to B, we cannot move from 1 to 2. Our suggestion is to bring good things and best practice from reality 1 to reality 2. So the logic is, as I said on the title of the presentation, in order to have a high PLC, we propose that let's see what are the good things we should continue. Let's see the things we should stop doing, and let's see the things we should start doing. And I have 2 hands full of ideas so that we have go back home after this 15 minutes presentation with a couple of points. So we are on the continue. Key idea number 1, we need to have some kind of classroom. I don't know which classroom, or probably I have some ideas, but it's impossible not to have some kind of classroom. And the classroom, it's not only a space, it's a metaphor, it's the meaning we have there, it's the interaction we have there, it's the ambience, it's the mood, it's the emotions we have there. So it's not possible not to have a classroom. That's why the key idea number 1 is on the continue box, we need to have some kind of classroom. On the continue, we need to have a teacher. And teacher is into brackets because it's also a metaphor. We need someone, it's a monitor, is a supervisor, is a teacher, is a manager, is a leader, is a mentor, is a coach, I don't care. But we always need to have that. And why? Because when we learn, we come with some kind of hardware, but we don't have any software with us. Why my main language is Portuguese? It's not because of DNA, no. It's because at home everybody was speaking Portuguese. So I have some kind of teachers, my parents, my brothers, my sisters. So we need to have one. Still on the continue box, we always need someone to be an example. Human beings learn through example. As I just mentioned, on the Portuguese logic, part of my values and my behaviorals, it's because I have examples at home. Fortunately, much more positive than negative, but we always need to have an example. So on the new way to develop soft skills, we need to continue having examples. Key idea number 4, we have to learn through experience. We cannot learn development skills through e-learning. It doesn't make any sense. If I have to go tomorrow through a surgery, I hope my surgeon learned through experience and not through e-learning, and not only on remote, which has been a challenging issue for medical students the last 4 to 5 months. They are not having practical classes at the hospitals. And this is a fact. They are having, let's call it, practical classes through remote. Oops. I would not like to go under a surgery with one of these guys in the next, okay, probably they'll be okay to have practical life in 4 to 5 years. Be aware of that. Key idea number 5, learning through experience. We need always to be with someone else. And the problem of the remote is we are too alone. We are lonely cowboys. We have to share what the stupid thing, like at university some years ago, what the stupid thing that the professor just said. Oh, that's very interesting. What is your opinion about this? What do you think about that? If we don't have this kind of ping pong, if we don't have this kind of dialogue, we process data alone. And then we always have data in mind. And we cannot have data in mind. We need to have data, we need to have information, and need to have knowledge. And to move from data to knowledge, we need someone else to be with us. Key idea number 6. And now I stop with the continue things. And I don't know if you can see on the top right corner that the stop title. We have to stop with ex cathedra way to teach. We have to stop to ex cathedra way to develop people. If not, they will be bored like they are here. The new generation doesn't, they have to have it, well, they must have teachers, but they cannot have teachers just under a monologue. That's impossible, it doesn't make any sense. They are not prepared just to listen. They are prepared, they are educated to interact. So the ex cathedra has to stop. Key idea number 7. Hierarchy. We have to stop with this. We have each time more flat organizations. Peers will have much more power. The teacher, as I mentioned before, could be a peer. It doesn't need to be my boss. Key idea number 8. The moment we have the teachers, and I repeat, the teacher is a metaphor, they need to bring us to places that are not comfortable for us. If we grow, and this is a start, sorry, I forgot to mention that on the top right corner, this is something that we need to start. If we develop soft skills inside comfortable zones, we are just a paste of the copy being the copy the teacher. Developing soft skills is a new copy-paste concept where pastes should be better than the copy. And this is only possible if we are in non-comfort zones. Start. We have to be ready to be on the remote logic. And the classroom, we're delivering classes for MBA students through remote, and we create our own way, and it has been perfect. So the remote, it's a fact. Now the point is, as I mentioned before, do you remember reality 1 and reality 2? That I was saying that it is a mistake if we have a disruptive move from reality 1 to reality 2. No, it's not an or logic, it's an and logic. So the remote is an and logic, it's not an or logic. We can have remote, but it's an and. As I mentioned before, medical students, they can have remote classes, but and probably more on the content. I expect not on the practical side, at least for the next coming years. Finally, from another point of view. So it's from or is morph? So what is the sequence, the right sequence of the letters? We have to start developing people in different contexts. One thing nowadays of the good impact of, for example, low-cost airlines is that we can easily, in a more cheap way, fly to another country, see different perspectives, integrate different cultural aspects. And this has to be each time more a way to develop soft skills. So 1 minute to finish. And I'm summing up the sum up of the key ideas. If I have to choose something, the key ideas are some kind of classroom. We have to have an interaction between people. Horizontal, vertical, but we need to have. And the second one, please continue having teachers. We need to have teachers. And so I finished my presentation. I expect inside my 15 minutes slot with this more different way, in a more provocative way, I hope, so that we go back home with a couple of topics inside each of these 3 boxes.